Beatrice Cosgrove, the country manager with Etihad, is here to present you with your Man of the Match award.
Congratulations. Well done.
Michael, not a traditional Munster final, but what a game.
Yeah, I suppose it was hugely exciting. End to end, I suppose, extra time, and beyond the night time, I suppose, added to it hugely, the occasion. I suppose it mightn't be the most free-flowing hurling you'll ever see, but I suppose for excitement you couldn't look past it.
You know, we came out after half time, and we really got stuck into it, and I suppose we had a great flow there for a while, and we could, you know, I mean, the game could have gone either way really at that stage in normal time.
That was an epic out there. It could have gone anywhere as well, so could have, you know, we came out in the end of it, but I think we deserved it, to tell you the truth. We got a few blows at a few different times, but we rode out the storm, we got back our shape, and we battled hard. And isn't the great thing about hurling that you have a lot of character, you have a lot of fight, and I am awful proud of the boys. It's their day. They did it. They worked very hard. The 20-something lads that played today, and fair play to them. Hats off them.
Indeed. Well, Michael Dignan, in the end, only the puck of a ball between them. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, it's very hard to separate them over the 2 weeks. I think, you know, it was a difficult evening for hurling. It was quite wet down there. The tactics, I think, really came into play on both sides. Waterford crowded it out big time, brought a lot of people behind the ball, and Cork sort of fell for it. There was a lot of bunching. Physically, a very, very tough game. You know, there was 3 and 4 lads tackling every time, and it disrupted Cork, I felt, more than Waterford. They were pucking very high and aimless balls into the forwards. There were, you know, they also, I suppose you have to say for Cork, they had a few injuries. Sean Og was missing at the start, then lost Shane O'Neill and Ronan Curran. Big losses to them, but at the end of the day, you know, I really enjoyed it. It was it wasn't, as Michael Walsh said there, it wasn't a classic free-flowing game, but for all of that, it was fierce exciting. It was a Saturday evening in Thurles, under lights at the end. You know, it had a bit of everything, fierce, passionate crowd. It was only 22,000, but real hurling people there, and I enjoyed it. I never saw as many decisions being argued, the passion on the sideline, on the field. A couple of incidents maybe missed by the ref that they might be looking at during the week again, but overall I enjoyed it, but I felt Waterford deserved to win it with a, you know, particularly very dominant half-back line.
Yeah. Talk us through the performance of the half-back line, the role they played.
Well, I just felt of all the lines in the field, they were the line that the Waterford half-back line I'm talking about, that held their positions throughout the game. You had Tony Brown, Michael Walsh and Declan Prendergast. Like from the very start, Michael Cusson is 6'7", but Brick did that all day. You see this unusual as well, he flicks the ball out one-handed a lot of time. He just does his job. He batted that one away there. Or this is Brick here. See that little flick that he uses with the one hand, but he's always looking up. He does the simple thing very, very well, and I think that has been a huge, that move of Brick Walsh back to centre back. There he is again, just holding the centre back position and the ball coming straight to him. And you know, Kilkenny do this all the time. Their half-back line just stay in the position that they're picked in, and that really was the only line on the team. Waterford did that. The Cork half-forward line had their moments. Like Niall McCarthy got him plenty of ball, Michael Cusson got a few balls, and Ben O'Connor, but they were getting it too far out the field. Whereas Waterford were happy to let them do that. And you know, you just see there Tony Brown again, who for 37 years of age is an amazing man. You know, in the last 10 minutes he was the fittest man in the field, made a couple of crucial blocks. And Declan Prendergast again, a man who wasn't on the team at the start of the year, came on against Clare and scored 3 points and had an outstanding game again in both days against Cork, and again last night, very athletic. But Brick Walsh to me is the man at centre back that makes his team tick. He's so intelligent. He just gets the ball. He doesn't want to be seen doing anything flashy. He just gets it, does the simple thing, lays it off, and sets up most of their attacks.
Yeah. Well, that was fantastic. And yet, Cyril, a couple of little bit of luck for Cork, and they could have won it.
Well, look, or better finishing really, like up front, like I'd say the older Cork hurlers would be cringing this morning or last night when they saw the match or saw the replay again. Like they created a lot of goal scoring chances and took none of them really. The goal they got was for choosing up, but here we'll show a few scoring chances. Usually they score. There's a high ball coming in here now. Browse is here now. Saki does the right thing. He's well tackled half forward. He gets a good shot in side netting. Now, usually, like, you want to get it on target. Here's, you can see he doesn't do much wrong, but he's well tackled. Target will get it free there, but he doesn't even make Clinton Hinsey make a save. Here we go again. Like, he had a good game all night. Now, good ball in by Cathal Naughton. Another high ball. Now, they're very unlucky here. Breaks here. Now, Pat Horgan does the right thing. I'd imagine goes in, but Noel Connors, who's really grown this year as a cornerback, gets back. It's a great, great save because it looks to be heading there. Just a little flick, plays the ball, gets it out. And you're going to see, like, here's another one again. A big man Cusson coming in. Now, this is a beautiful ball by Kieran Murphy. Looks up, picks out Niall McCarthy. Now, he should have let fly first time. Once he hesitates, now there's good tackling, but the chance is gone. Now, usually against the likes of Kilkenny or better sides, if you let go first time, he kind of tried to hit a stand up, It's still a good tackle by the back. And here's another one coming in again, cussing a big man. Now, everyone's giving about these big guys, but they still cause that a problem. Here he goes, he overcarries a nice bit, but again, bang. Now, you'd think Clinton Hensey made a good save. Actually, it hits him. So out of all these chances, they didn't get any goal at all. Now, if they got one or two of them, the game would take a turn. It was so tight as that it'd probably turn for Cork in their favour. You need to be scoring them.
Yeah. Let's go to the audience. Fergal Hartley of Waterford. The celebrations at the end there made it look like it was the first Munster title for Waterford. Was it more important than recent ones in your view?
Well, they've all been great. You know, the last decade for Waterford has been great. We've won 4 Munster titles and we hadn't won one for 39 years before that. But I think last night was special because it was a replay and it was extra time. And you know, over the last decade, these teams now, they played 10 times before yesterday, and it was 4 wins each, 2 draws. There's nothing between the teams. In fact, the cumulative total over all those games, there was only 4-point difference between the two teams. You know, so there's absolutely nothing between them, and it could have gone either way last night again. But because it was so tight, because it was extra time, you know, yeah, Waterford were absolutely delighted.
So, are you looking at an All-Ireland final maybe now?
Well, I don't see any reason why Waterford wouldn't be confident now they can get to the All-Ireland final, you know. It looks like Waterford will play the winners of Tipperary and Galway, and whoever that might be, it'll obviously be a very tough game. But having come through, you know, that game last night and the previous week and come out on top against one of the traditional teams who are usually expected to come out in these really tight games, I don't think Waterford will fear Tipperary or Galway.
Diarmuid O'Sullivan of Cork, you must have been sick at the end of it, were you?
Yeah, it was disappointing, Des. You know, if you said to me going up before the game, Cork had 4 very good goal chances and miss a penalty, you know, you'd be very disappointed to come away not having won that game. And I've no doubt the lads are feeling, you know, the same today. It's a game they probably left after me in a lot of respects.
The injuries, was that crucial?
Exactly. You know, when you take the likes of Shane O'Neill, Sean Oak, Ronan Kern, 3 linchpins in the back line who've been there now. Shane, probably the less for the last couple of years, but Ronan and Sean Oak have been dominant over the last 7-8 years, and to lose them, you know, Sean Oak from the start and Ronan just at the start of extra time, they were big blows, and you know, not too many teams could cope with losing them. But I think give credit to the lads who did come in. Young William Egan came in there, you know, midfield not easy for him, tacked a point on. So look, you know, there's positives to be taken as well.
All right then. On a broader picture about Munster, Tommy Dunn, I mean, Tip were well beaten by Cork. It was a bit of a topsy-turvy Munster Championship in a way. Where are Tip, would you say?
Well, sure, you know, they're in the quarter-final now anyway, Days. By whatever road they got there, it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't really matter for any other team either. You know, Cork gave probably the performance of the championship so far, I think, against Tip a few weeks ago, but they haven't reproduced it. But they may reproduce it yet. Yeah. Tip have showed mixed form so far, but they're playing fairly solidly in their last 2 games, and they're going up to play against Galway in a real 50-50 game. So look, all bets are off at this stage for the quarter-finalists, and everybody has a chance, and it's whoever can produce it on the day is going to get into the semi-final. But Tip have as good a chance as anybody now, I think.
Vincent Hogan of the Irish Independent. It's been a strange Munster Championship in many ways, hasn't it? There's the Limerick situation, there was Waterford Clare playing in a semi-final on a bank holiday in front of a small crowd.
Yeah, I feel to some extent as it was rescued last night because and last Sunday as well, because we got 2 absolutely compelling Munster finals, and I think the managerial performance of the year so far is Davy Fitz. He's basically reinvented the way Waterford hurl. They've been the great entertainers for the last decade. They now are very tactical, and tactically, I'm not sure in my lifetime Cork have ever gone through 35 minutes of championship hurling and only scored 1 point from play. That's what they endured last night. Dennis Walsh described their first half performance in the drawn game as a disaster, so God knows what he would have called it last night. I think Waterford, nobody has studied the way Kilkenny play more assiduously than Davy Fitz, and there's a huge element of Kilkenny's style about Waterford, but there is also an element of robbing Peter to pay Paul. They don't look as menacing in the full forward line because basically John Milan is hurling a lone furrow up there.
All right then. Well, look, we'll be chatting more about that in a while. Coming up shortly, a report on this weekend's 2 hurling qualifiers, Dublin versus Antrim and Tipperary versus Offaly. But